What's good, Bears fans? Hope everything is going well. Hey, still on high after that big win against the Washington Commanders. First win of the season for our Chicago Bears. Everything is looking great. The sun coming up. Everybody's happy. Hey, I'm sure that lakefront downtown Chicago is looking very good right now. Now check this out. Today on BearsMediaCo, we are going to talk about our coaching staff. Are they any good? Are they getting better? Are they just, going through the motions? I don't know, but we're going to talk about it. I'm your host, Brent C. Let's make it happen. Now, Bears fans, you know as well as I do, last year, 2022, Bears 3-14. We kind of knew, hey, we ain't gonna be that good. Traded away Roquan Smith, traded away Khalil Mack, traded away Robert Quinn, 3 vets that were holding the locker room down. Matt Eberflus coaching what was a lost year pretty much. So coming into 2024, second year of his so-called hits principle, we knew, we hoped, we prayed that this team would be much, much better than what we saw last year. Now, starting out this year, we knew we were going against the hated Green Bay Packers. So, looking at the preseason, training camp, we see injuries, we see, veterans sitting out, a lot of turmoil, with Nate Davis, with his family issue. So, not much of a cohesion starting off for our off-season training program. So, heading into that Green Bay game, everyone was hyped up. Matt Eberflus, our head coach, he was talking a good game, even though most of the starters didn't see any preseason work. That includes Justin Fields. We all had a feeling that maybe we will beat Green Bay. Get to the game, what happened? It looked like the entire team hadn't even practiced together. All the talk about, Justin wrapping his head around the whole offense, players ready to go, even though they didn't play through the preseason. All that stuff came to a head in that Green Bay game. Now, our head coach, he has said that his defensive philosophy, rush 4, drop 7 into coverage. Cover 2, right? We all remember that cover 2 when we had Lance Briggs, Brian Urlacher, Charles Peanut Tillman. We had players that can get after it. Monsters of the Midway, right? Well, check this out. Our first game, we looked like the Cubby Bears of the Midway. We were not very good in that game. Had some flashes. That's the game, I believe, we lost Kyler Gordon. Hurt his hand in that game. So, starting off, that game was a big letdown for the Chicago Bears. Now, us as fans, we were distraught. I got to say it. Another loss to Green Bay. It was not a good feeling. I think the whole fan base at that point was out on the coaching staff. I mean, Lou Getsy didn't look good at all. I'm going to get to him. But when the entire team does not look good, that comes down on the head coach. It's your job to get these players ready. And when you're starting off with the Green Bay Packers, they better be ready. We do not play very well in the past against Green Bay. So here was his opportunity to show us that he has the team ready, the free agents, the draft, the players that we had. we were ready to go. He said nothing contrary to anything. I mean, he was just like, hey, we're going to be ready. We're good to go. Starters are here. Everything is rainbows and unicorn, right? Everything was just fine. Then we get to the game and it was horrible. Now look, I can say not everything can go right in a football game, right? You look at this past game against the Commanders, we lose 4 starters. We'll take that back. That's 3 starters and 1 backup. That is not ideal. That is not ideal. So injuries are a part of football, but the head coach, especially a defensive-minded head coach who takes over after the first game calling plays, you would expect things to look different. Now, a lot has been said about how Coach Eberflus handled the Chase Claypool situation. I say he didn't handle it very well, very evasive. I have to say, just straight out, just lie. I'm just going to say that. Now, when you have a player who is not meeting your standard, you have to let him know. First game, Chase Claypool looked piss poor, just to put it bluntly. Piss poor in his execution on everything. Now, going into that second game against Tampa, hey, we all knew we had to play better as a team, right? The team has to do better. Unfortunately, we showed up to a football game even more uninspiring and looking not prepared. We looked like a team that was playing in a preseason game. Once again, the defense not looking good, but more importantly, the so-called hits principles was not in effect. Tackling was poor. No turnovers. The intensity was not there. There was really, honestly, there was no energy in that game. And that would come back to bite us again in the third game against Kansas City. This team did not have energy whatsoever. And that comes down to the coach. If you're preaching intensity from the players and the players give you nothing, that's a direct reflection on you, head coach. Direct. Now, can I blame everything on him? No. Players have to go out there and execute. But in order to execute, the head coach, who is now the defensive play caller, he has to give them something to work on during, the practice sessions. Against Tampa, look, they looked out of sorts. Now, we had an opportunity to win that game. We did not. There's an old saying, if y'all remember the movie, leave it in the comments. But there's a statement made in this movie that said, attitude reflects leadership. Right? Now, the attitude of the defense was that of, we're in high school and we're over our heads. That's all I can say. They did not look good. Now, going into that Kansas City game, no one, including myself, no one believed that we were going to win that game. And in that game, we definitely looked like we did not belong. Now, 3 games where the entire team does not look well, does not look energized, does not play with passion for a game that they're getting paid hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. It's something to be said about your coaching staff when you cannot motivate your players. I don't know. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not, on the sidelines. I don't have direct, phone calls with the head coach or anyone on the coaching staff. But there is no way, and I mean no way, that a Chicago Bears defense should look this bad. Not in that game against Kansas City. There was no fight. There was absolutely no fight. We get to that Denver game. In that Denver game, they are coming off a hard loss, which the Miami Dolphins put 70 points up on them. 70. I don't think I've ever seen that in my entire life of watching football, that an NFL team hung 70 points on someone. So the Denver Broncos losing that game 70-20, coming into Chicago, everyone was saying, including myself, that offense had to do better. This is the perfect opportunity. That defense of theirs was not all that. Offense looked good. Defense, what do we say? Get off the field. That's it. Get some third down, some third and longs. Don't let that offense of the opposing team stay out there. What do we get? Whew. We got some. Now, let me go back. Now, in that first half, it was okay. Wasn't that great? It was okay. The offense, they looked like they turned the page from the blank page to the actual offensive page. They looked good that first half. Now, that second half came along, and I don't know what Coach Eberflus was thinking. Not going for 3 points, not calling a timeout, bringing the defense over to the sideline and just chewing them out right there. Talking about, get it together, guys. Do something. Show some energy. Somebody speak up. The head coach should be setting the tempo with his defense if you are a defensive-minded coach, which Matt Eberflus is, right? That's what we expected, especially since this guy was supposedly a defensive guru with the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I never followed the Indianapolis Colts too heavy or too loose, but I don't ever recall them being in the conversation of top 10 defenses or anything like that. So I'm not sure where it all came from, but hey, he's got his principles. He's got the words to talk to the media about what should be going on, but I don't know. It just did not translate in that second half of that Broncos game. So we end up losing. A heartbreaker. Your quarterback is looking despondent on the game after the game. The team, from what I understand, everybody showered and split. No one really hung around. Not sure what the coach was thinking, So we need our head coach of the Chicago Bears to get in front of these type of things. Now, getting to the Commanders game. 14-game losing streak had to end at some point. Thankfully, it ended in Washington. Now, great game that was called. Second half, you can kind of see the tackling start to degrade. You start seeing, just poor play on the defense. Now, they had their spots where they played good. I'm going to chalk that up to the talent of the players. So, one thing I can say, when the time was right, the first half, we got the 3 points and still trying to go for it, even though we did go for it on one of them and got it. We got it on fourth down, we went for it, everything looked great, right? Now, even though I'll say that we won the game, team effort, everything, Coach Eberflus, smiles on his face, meeting the players as they come off the field, high-fiving, congratulating. That's great. But can he finish the season strong after, 5 weeks? Hey, Bears fans, let me know down in the comments what you think. Because for me, I'm still saying he has to go. I know we got our first win. We're on high. But today, I'm talking about Matt Eberflus still should get fired at the end of this season. Now, unless we win every game, I don't see him coming back. Now, let's talk about our offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy. Now, Luke Getsy, a supposed offensive genius, right? He had Aaron Rodgers up in Green Bay. So the thought was, hey, if he can bring Justin Fields to half of what Aaron Rodgers was in Green Bay, we would be one of the top teams in the NFL. Well, let's just say the NFC. So last year, first 6-7 games of the season, we looked putrid, plain and simple. Nothing looked right. We were running the football great. Now, we were definitely running the football. But starting with that New England game, it was like something clicked. Even though, I think we beat New England, that's for sure. And the offense looked capable. We still had questions going into the offseason, right? So training camp comes around. We add, DJ Moore. We get Nate Davis for the offensive line in free agency. And we get, Darnell Wright, number 10 pick in the draft. So, reason for optimism, right? Now that optimism, it came in, preseason started. Well, let me back up. In training camp, we heard a lot about DJ Moore, Justin Fields connection. Immediate, right? It was immediate. They were, best friends there and they're talking, they're practicing down in Florida together, all this stuff that we heard. Didn't hear too much about, how the tight ends were going to fit in or what the other players were looking like. Now we did have, Chase Claypool at the time, bringing energy. Not sure if it was good energy or whatnot. As we see, he probably was a little bit of an asshole. Just have that right there. But we didn't hear too much about anything else. I mean, the running backs, they were very little talk about them. A lot of work, so-called, in the red zone. You got to work in a certain place. We were one of the lowest scoring teams in the league last year, so working on, the red zone stuff, making sure that when we get there, we can get points. I get it. But once we hit the preseason, we didn't get a whole lot of our offensive starters. Now, of course, we've had injuries. Didn't seem like we were really looking for the starters to get time. So a lot of PJ Walker as a quarterback, a lot of the third string guys out there, second string, and of course Tyson Badgett. Now, I get it. You want to see what you got as far as the backups and things like that. But over the course of 3 games, I do believe the starters on offense got 9 actual plays together. And of course, at the end of that, Tevin Jenkins gets hurt. The starting left guard, he gets hurt. Calf sprains in both legs. I don't know how you do that. Nate Davis had his family issues, so he missed, time. Didn't really practice. And, it was just a mismatch of just players coming in and out. Now, we all know when you want a good offense, you have to have a good line. That's just how it is. And by the line not getting time together, it was bound to hurt at some point. So with Luke Getsy, we all had our fears that, man, hey, hopefully he can get the most out of Justin. Now, what did we see? Green Bay, Justin didn't look too bad. Play calls were a little wonky, I'll say. So you could probably, chalk it up to just just working together for the first game. Tampa Bay game comes, and that offense just did not look good. Did not look good at all. And then his play calling was extremely suspect. Extremely suspect against Tampa Bay. I mean, who calls 3 straight screenplays inside the damn 5-yard line? Now, of course, the offensive line got a couple penalties in that. So I guess it can't all be on him, but I am going to put it on him. It was just a sloppy play calling game. Then we move on to Kansas City. Wasn't much there. Tried to get Justin the run, but the defensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs is pretty darn good. And Mr. Chris Jones over there, he's damn good. And he met Justin Fields quite a few times. So, you know, you gotta call a better game than that, especially against a great defensive front. You gotta chip. You gotta, put some extra defenders in there. Didn't really get that. Then against Denver, call a great first half. I mean, a solid first half that, the offense that we all thought we were getting game 1. Now, second half of the Denver game, of course, we all know about it. The offense was decent, moving the ball a few times, but then the execution falls apart. We all know about the interception that sealed the game pretty much for Denver. Justin and Cole weren't on the same page. Cole said he was doing what he was taught. Justin said he was doing what he was taught. But Justin said, I kind of wanted him to just sit and get the play, but it didn't happen. So it just seems that as an offensive coordinator, you want better execution. And through 4 games, it was hit and miss. So, now heading into the Washington Commanders game, no one knew what to expect. The fan base was torn apart. They were calling for, the entire coaching staff to be fired. I was one of them. Looking for a new quarterback. I was not one of them. I still believe in JF1. He's our quarterback, and he has the talent. Now, there's a lot of talk about whether or not he should be running more, and I don't think so. You don't want to put your quarterback in a position to continue to take hits from linebackers, defensive linemen, and things like that. Don't do it. This is a guy that is going to lead your offense. You can't have him nicked up. Now, as you remember last year, Justin Fields left, didn't play the last 3 games. So, don't put him in jeopardy. This is our quarterback. Don't put his health in jeopardy when we have running backs that can do the job. Now, against the Commanders, I got to say, Luke Getsy called a fantastic game from start to finish. Were there some plays that didn't go right? Maybe. Now, some of the connections didn't happen. Darnell Mooney targeted 4 times, no catches. It happens. It happens. But on the other side, DJ Moore, 8 catches, 3 touchdowns, 230 yards. That's what you wanted to see. And another thing, when you lose out on your number 1 and number 2 and the number 3 running back in the game, that's hard to overcome. But using the fullback, calling proper plays in the run game was crucial in that second half. And he called a good game. One thing he did not do, as opposed to last week, he kept Justin Fields throwing the ball down the field. Exactly what he wanted. Now, you could say Justin Fields misses some passes, right? But I would say some of the pass plays that were called were not within the realm of what an offense should be doing. 7-step drops. Now, I've said this before, 7-step drops are not what this team needs. Now, against Washington, quick passes. Oh, we saw a lot of that there in that game. Quick passes, double slants, look great. I can't be mad at Luke Getsy for that Washington Commanders game. That game was damn near perfect for the Chicago Bears offense. Can he continue it? I hope so. Will he? We can only see. Time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, we don't have a defensive coordinator. Coach Eberflus is calling that. But the defense, hopefully, will get better as the season goes along with the tackling. On the offensive side, we have to continue pushing the ball downfield. Not sure how long Khalil Herbert will be out. Not sure how long Roschon Johnson will be out with the concussion. As I said, Khalil Herbert with the ankle sprain, so not sure there. So that means for only the second time this year, Dante Foreman will get a start. Now, I'm a big fan of his. At 6 foot, 230 some odd pounds, this is a guy that we should be running and punishing defensive lines with. Now, will he last the entire game if he's the only running back out there? We're going to see. But I need Luke Getsy to continue calling plays that puts us in the position to score, whether it be for 7 points or for 3 points. We have to keep the foot on the pedal, mashed to the floor, and for the rest of this year, I want to see where we just hang 30 plus points on every team. It's possible. You know, I mean, is it realistic to expect that? Absolutely not. But while we have this momentum, we need to continue to push the ball downfield, run the football, run Justin, you know, every now and then, not too much. I mean, last game he ran the ball 5 times, and I think that is perfect. You don't need to run him much more than that. Now, granted, sometimes he's just going to take off and try to get plays for us. Nothing you can do about that. But if Luke Getsy can continue to call good plays. Now, let me stop there. During the Washington Commanders game, let me tell you something I saw. On a couple of those touchdowns, when they're heading back to the sidelines, I don't see Justin talking to Luke Getsy. Matter of fact, I don't think I saw Luke Getsy talking to Justin the entire game. It looked like he was talking to the quarterback's coach, Andrew Janako. I hope I didn't get that wrong. I hope I didn't get it wrong. But those two guys, I had to look up to see who this guy was, but they were talking pretty much throughout the game. Now, if Justin and the quarterback coach are getting along fine, Luke is still calling the plays, but there's no communication with Justin. I don't know what that's about, but I will say it worked. So let's just hope that maybe, you know, the quarterback coach is just in Justin's ear telling him, hey, continue what you're doing. You know, keep playing hard, keep looking for the deep shot. Now, Justin didn't have no turnovers in that game against the Commanders, so we definitely need to keep that up. But it just struck me as, you know, weird that the offensive coordinator would not be talking to the quarterback. Just a little weird on my end. I don't know. So, but we'll have to see. But one thing I can say, Bears fans, at the end of this season, our general manager has to have a deep look at what this coaching staff has done for this team. For the year, let me say that, for the year, there has to be a long talk about whether to bring this staff back for next year. Now, can I change my mind? Absolutely. But as of right now, I say we need to make a change as far as this coaching staff. There should be no reason why it takes you 3 to 4 games to get ready for a season, to play actual 21st century football. It doesn't make sense. So I hope we could continue to win. I hope the coaching staff has figured out how to win. I hope the players have learned how to win. Good things can happen if this team can come together and play fundamental football for 4 quarters. Has to be 4 quarters. We can't have any letdowns. All right? Now look, Bears fans, glad that you're along for the ride. We here at BearsMediaCo, we surely appreciate you, and we thank you for tuning in. And as always, as your host, Brent C., I look forward to talking to you in the next one, and I hope that you leave a comment down below so we can continue the conversation. And as always, subscribe, hit the likes, and of course, hit the notification bell just so you know when I drop a great video for our Chicago Bears. So until the next time, as always, Bears fans, peace.